Welcome in. This is your odds checker betting preview for this week's Honda Classic. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there is Geoff Fienberg. And Jeff, here we go. First leg of the Florida swing.
Yeah, we've had some big events, but things start to feel real here, Rick, as we enter Florida Players Championship. It's almost like Florida is essentially the preamble to the Masters, which is, the big one. So here we are, ready to get to Florida. I love PGA National. I'm a big fan of this event. Despite its lack of field strength, I think it's one of the it's a fun week that I think a lot of people like to, take jokes at. But outside of last year's Matt Jones runaway, some very exciting finishes year after year.
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of a casualty of the schedule with Riviera last week, with a lot of big events coming up. The Arnold Palmer Invitational, the players will be here before you know it. So it's a natural rest week for the players atop the world rankings, but it's a decent field. And Jeff, this is an event that really lets its golf course shine. PGA National it's a tough task, man. There is water out there everywhere. The par is often a good score. It's going to be a battle for these guys.
Yeah, I joked in some stuff I already did today, Rick, almost making the comment like, there's a better chance I lose more bodies after day one of the at PGA National Honda Classic than I would at a match play.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of the same, guys are just gonna get ejected, and that's a lie for 4 straight days. And from an outright betting perspective, you enter the week, you acknowledge it, no different than any event. But, things can end quickly for some guys, and you just chalk it up to, time at the Honda and par for the course.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll be a couple hours into this thing on Thursday morning, and we'll have some outrights that are probably dead. Here's the odds checker grid. There are 5 golfers who are 20-1 or shorter, led by Sung Jae Im at 13-1 and Daniel Berger at 16-1. And then you get Brooks Koepka, Joaquin Niemann, and Louis Oosthuizen, Jeff, all at 20-1. Kind of a top-heavy field. Will you be making a click in this area of the betting board?
Yeah, so I already have made a click, Rick. I was an eager beaver to bet on Louis Oosthuizen this morning. I know there's a lot of hasn't won, can't win, these just narratives. Granted, we're in a year of non-winners winning. There are just so many elements to Louis Oosthuizen that I like this week. I would have had him priced even shorter than he is at 20-1. He opened, I believe, as high as 25. Obviously, he's gotten a little steam today. It's amazing his around the green game has had such troubles here at PGA National over the year. Like a lot of people, you'll hear this about this week. It's his home base is in Palm Beach in the United States. It's his home bed. It's his home game. So I'm in on Louis this week, Rick.
Home mattress, probably the most important thing for Louis Oosthuizen. And after 3 months off, he looked just like himself when we saw him a couple of weeks ago. He gained across the board and putted very well. I considered it. I've kind of focused in on a little bit of the next tier. Billy Horschel at 22-1. That number is shorter in some places. BetMGM and FanDuel have Billy at 22. I think I'll start my betting card there, which is not something that I tend to do, but it's Horschel, it's Tommy Fleetwood, it's Shane Lowry, it's Alex Noren, it's Keith Mitchell next on the board. Jeff, how do we start to decipher between these guys?
Yeah, so I've hammered I've made a move, I should say. Billy Horschel seemed like very popular pick for obvious reasons. He's got that winning pedigree in many ways that you can't deny, especially against the majority of this field, Rick. Also, as something I've labeled this event as, you mentioned, it's a great rest spot. It's, just the way the calendar works out for so many players, that all those players, the Stableford's, I should say, no pun intended, golf-wise, of the PGA Tour, it allows for the infestation of cheeky Euro international players that, the style of play, I think, very well suits PGA National. And while it is an ideal scheduling spot, I think a lot of those big guys, their ego might be too fragile for PGA National. They wouldn't write numbers that big, even at the courses they do play well at. And I'm not debating how tough the regular rotation is. So speaking of that, Tommy Fleetwood for me, Rick. I couldn't resist. I mean, if we're going to use the grid, let's start right here.
Yeah.
14 at DraftKings, 28 at Bet365. I watched this thing all day. It opened at a 20. I watched it move to 22. I watched it move to 25. And now at 28, I can no longer resist. I know, Louis, Fleetwood, I get it.
Good luck.
I get it. You're probably better off betting a collection of Brooks and Billy and Lowry, guys that actually have quality wins on the resume. Louis was a long time ago, whatever. But Fleetwood, Rick, his last 2 starts, a 12th and an 8th worldwide. His 2 starts here, a 4th and a 3rd. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood for me.
He has actually been playing much better than I think people realize, just because we haven't seen it here. It's like 5 or 6 consecutive starts on the European tour. They've all been fairly decent. He's got that little sawed-off kind of swing that can get himself around PGA National, so you certainly understand why he's had success at this event. Let's go deeper. I won't read off all of these names, Geoff, but the 40s, the 50s, and even into the 60s are some interesting names. You get some specialists like Johnny Vegas. You have maybe some question marks like Matthew Wolff. You've got some guys with some decent history around here like Matt Jones and Mackenzie Hughes. Is there a wager to be made here?
Yeah, so I am tempted by many names, and I'm going to have to make some of my tougher decisions in this range, Rick. Just as a joke, that collab piece we do for Odds Checker where we give long shots, I've written up Russell Knox in that 3 times already this year, and apparently Odds Checker wasn't asking us to project who's going to finish 33rd in those columns. But, cheeky Euro, he checks so many boxes for me. I don't think I'm going to be there. Where I will be is Gary Woodland, 66-1, as low as 45-1 when using that Odds Checker grid, Rick. Yeah. I have lost a lot of money on Woodland at PGA National, and why stop now when I'm getting double the number that I used to? So he's a guy that I have bet on. Chris Kirk, another player that I have bet on. I will say I was able to pull a number on him, an 80 on him earlier today, but would still play the 70s. He's as low as 50 on the Odds Checker grid. I'm going blind.
That's correct.
The grid is popping back at me. So that's a guy I'm looking at, but so many names honestly have my attention. Guy like Taylor Moore, KH Lee, Lucas Glover, and the way he's been attacking pins. The great thing about this week, Rick, every single one of these guys, they just got to wake up and be like, if I shoot 2 under
right
every day, I'm going to be in perfect position, not just to make a paycheck, but to win. It's a really weird, I shouldn't say weird, it's just a really different element than we're used to week in, week out on the PGA Tour. So those guys that can't rain birdies, that you're always so mad, can't convert enough of those 12, 20-foot birdie putts, the pars go so much farther here at the end of the day.
Yeah, par, very good score on most of these holes. You're right. If you look at the Odds Checker grid here, couple of examples. Denny McCarthy, anywhere from 50 to 66-1. Gary Woodland, anywhere from 45 to 66-1. Russell Knox, 41 to 66-1. Chris Kirk, 50 to 70-1. So obviously make sure you're doing your shopping on the grid, getting the best number that is available to you. Here's another one. Nikolai Højgaard, 41-1 at his shortest, 80-1 at his longest. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper here, Geoff, because we've seen a couple of triple-digit guys hoist a trophy on Sunday. Do you think that this week sets up for something similar?
The potential is certainly there. There's so many reasons as to why PGA National can be conducive to long shots. We talked last year with Matt Jones, Rick, and let's say if me and you are talking 4 years from now in the metaverse, breaking down whatever the 2026 Honda, we could be doing a bit like how 4 straight 100-1 odds have hit here. Like, it wouldn't be crazy to fathom that like in a few years we're talking about a staple triple-digit event. Probably not the case, but we'll see. It sets up that way like a lot of the other ones. Aaron Rai, just a player with his European Tour experience. Just listen, I've had Ryan DFS when things have gone bad, so that goes against what I'm about to say. But he seems like a very stable, tee to green player, keeps the ball clean. We avoid the landmines, and you're standing with a chance on Sunday. Garrick Higo, 125 to 1. I've mentioned my power South African at the top, and even some interest maybe in Bez in the middle. But down at the back of the pack, Garrick Higo, 125 to 1. And the Canadian, Adam Svensson, Rick, which I pulled a big number earlier. I'm
125 currently.
Yeah, 125 on the grid. That one's been coming down, but something I could still be interested in. And I can't talk about an event that I believe is conducive to cheeky Euros without smashing that 200 to 1. Danny Willett, you use the grid because that's as low as 120 over at FanDuel, but DraftKings sporting a 200 on my guy Willett this week, Rick.
Yeah, there's so much to like down here, and every dart throw seems valid this week. You could convince me on Lee Hodges at 200 to 1, even Patty Harrington, who's been playing great on the DP World Tour, anywhere from 90 at FanDuel, but you can get him at 200 to 1 at BetMGM. So you really do need to do your homework. You really do need to do your shopping. And Geoff, if we are going to lean maybe more heavily than most weeks on those triple-digit golfers, how big could this card get for you? You know, there's a bet to be made at the top seemingly, but there's a lot of bets to be made at the bottom. How many guys end up making your final ticket?
That's a great question, considering I've bet on Louis. I'm betting on Fleetwood at 28. That kind of doesn't allow me to go super bomb. So I am still trying to chase some of that upper tier, Rick. I'll be honest. I'll be overexposed this week. I love Honda. I'm going myself in for a knee surgery on Thursday. So I'll just be total deep into the meds, living the bear trap and all the bogeys that come with it. It's really literally you make a full betting card this week and you're so thankful to have one guy in like the top 5 or with a chance on Sunday. It's really like surviving elimination, as I joked, but partially not joking, like match play. Like guys are just gone and they don't matter anymore.
For sure. While you're all hopped up on the meds, do me a favor and start hashing out this metaverse idea that you're going down here. I like that. We'll be in the metaverse. We'll be picking winners. We'll be watching them play golf on like Mars and stuff. Keep hashing that out for me. I like where you're going with this one.
Just trying to see the future, Rick.
All right, brother. Well, listen, feel better. Get well soon. Good luck with everything, and see if we can find you a winner come Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, let's see if we could bag another one. Good times.
Good times. Geoff Fienberg available on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been your odds checker betting preview for this week's Honda Classic. Good luck.